Okay, welcome to the Seeing Reality with New Eyes module. Now, the reason this is placed in the front is because this is so massively important. Too many people run into problems in their own life that are generated because of their own worldview and perspectives and opinions of reality. Okay, so if you want to be successful, the best thing that you can do is question the entire paradigm of how you see the world and build this from a place of conscious thought, right? Because the average person, they don't question anything. They don't deprogram or debelieve or unlearn anything, right? And the most successful people in the world unlearn everything, right? Because you're going to see basically everything that we're told is a lie. Everything that we're told has an agenda and a narrative behind it to make us believe a certain thing for a certain reason, to benefit a certain group of people. And my goal here is just to basically break down how I see reality, which is a paradigm that I've found very helpful for myself. And if you can see reality in this way as well, I think you'll find a lot more success. So let's jump in. So this is seeing reality with new eyes. Now, what you're going to see here, and I'm going to move this around pretty often because it's a lot of different slides, or they have different open space, but society's view and the default perspective that we're given on reality is basically us over here, right? Now, there's a bridge that you have to cross, okay? There's a bridge of truth that you have to cross to get to deeper understanding. So if you just go about your life and believe everything society tells you about everything, you're going to have society's default view, society's default perspectives, and you're going to get society's default base results, right? And they want you to be a cog in a capitalist machine, so you don't have any fortitude, you don't have any will, you can't stand on your own two legs, you can't think originally. They want you dependent on them, they want you dumb, they want you fat, they want you lazy, and they don't want you to make a bunch of money. I want you to make a bunch of fucking money, right? I want you to free yourself and your family. So this is the bridge that I'm going to walk you over that will get you from society's default programming to a deeper level of truth, a deeper level of understanding, and the realization that you control way more in this reality than you even are aware of right now, right? So let's jump in. Now, let's talk about you, okay? You watching this. Now, have you ever questioned who you really are, okay? If I say, who are you? What do you think of? You might say, well, this is my name. You might say, well, I'm a person. You might say, well, I believe in this, I believe in that. But who is you, right? Because you're not your name. Your family gave you a name. You were given a name, right? And you're not your body because you have hands. You have hands and you have a face. You have a body, right? You're not your thoughts because you think thoughts. Thoughts come to you. So if you have a thought that says, I am sad, well, who is sad? Who had the thought? You're the person, you're the thing, let me say that. You're the thing behind the thought. You're the thing behind your beliefs. You're the thing behind your identity, okay? Because you have an identity. So what you are is an observing thing. You are awareness behind all these different layers of reality. Now, what they don't tell you is that all these different layers of reality is actually a story. It's a narrative that you create, okay? The foundation, the fabric of reality, you are helping create to an astounding degree, okay? And this is what society will call taboo or fucking whatever they're gonna call it, but they don't understand how the world works, okay? Now, you are actually a combination of three things. Your beliefs about the self and the world, your character traits that you identify with, and your skills, either physical or emotional. So essentially, what's happening here is you are a being of awareness, okay? Stimuli is hitting you, either emotionally or physically, and you are telling stories to make sense of the information. That's all that's happening here. Really think about what I'm telling you. All you are a source of awareness tying stories onto information. You are putting story ribbons on presence of information. Now, the amazing part about that is that once you realize all of this shit you're fucking creating, you realize that you can change. It's pretty fucking astounding. I'm getting goosebumps just saying this, right? So your beliefs about yourself and the world, your character traits, and your skills, both physical and emotional, that you have, okay? Now, society's default view is one that is static. Because they say, I am a person, I'm born X way, and I cannot change. And they identify with the story, okay? I am depressed. I am sad. I don't feel good. My name is Grant. My name is John. I'm from Ireland, and then I moved to Venezuela because I wanted to seek a better thing. These are stories that we tell ourselves, right? And the default societal view is to attach to the story, okay? They call the story me, and they say, I cannot change. Does that make sense? So static paradigm statements are things like, I'm X type of person. That's not me. I'm just not like that. They're more special than I am. These are statements of being a static human, okay? Now, the truth is, reality is entirely an illusion, okay? And you are nothing more than a narrative. All that you think you are is pure story. It's kind of true, but also largely not true, okay? And the reason why it's true is because what we believe our story to be is the story that's true. Because it's a fucking created story. Does this make sense? Now, I'm not trying to freak you out about this. I'm trying to drill this home because once you understand this, you understand that you literally have the power to craft your entire reality. You have the power to manifest things into your world that you think right now are fucking impossible. You have the potential to leap exponentially, to quantum leap levels of reality. You can do this. This is fucking real. I'm trying to inject you with this information, okay? You are nothing more than a narrative. Now, here's what you need to believe. Here's the more effective thing to believe, is that the you is dynamic, okay? The dynamic human realizes the entire story of yourself is purely narrative, and you're just selectively attaching parts of your narrative to what you call your identity, right? Who do you identify as? Well, let's go through it. A lot of people identify as introverted, okay? Actually, I don't want to use introvert. A lot of people identify as quiet. Let's say that. Now, why do they identify as quiet? They think back to their memory system, okay? They might have one example of when they were quiet, or two examples of when they were quiet, or maybe they were nervous because they were new at something, and then they were quiet because they were nervous, but then they took that nervousness quiet and grabbed it and accepted it and put it on their identity to extrapolate all the time, so now they think they're quiet, right? These are arbitrary beliefs we have about ourselves, because if you take the quiet person, but you put them next to one of their best friends, or you give them a little alcohol and put them next to one of their best friends, they're some of the loudest people ever, right? So within them, they have the power to be quiet and they have the power to be loud, but they're attaching only one of these to their identity, and the other one lives completely in the darkness. Can you see this? This is the duality of being a human. There's always two sides to every coin. You can't have high without low. You can't have happy without sad. Every thing that we use to describe anything is a comparison to something else. It's an infinite spectrum, and we choose points, right? So if this is the happy spectrum, this is super happy and this is sad. If I'm happy, it's only because we have a sad side. Does that make sense? It's duality, okay? Now, the reason this is so important is because once you see what you're attaching to your identity, you'll also at the same time be able to see what you're hiding in the shadows of your identity, okay? And if you don't have what you want, it's because what you want is stuck in the shadow, okay? This is so important to understand, because what you get in life is due to who you are. Who you are equals what you get. So if you do not have what you want, it's because what you need is stuck in the shadows. So a large part of success is being dynamic with your identity. It's being dynamic with the things you believe. It's being dynamic with the things you attach to your identity. It's being dynamic with how you see yourself in your own mind. It's being dynamic with your beliefs about self-esteem and what you're worthy of. All these things can be changed, right? Narratives can be changed, okay? And you realize that who you are is simply narrative. Well, guess what? You control your narrative. You probably just up to this point have never considered that. You've probably never audited what narratives you have in your own mind. You've been told things by family members or by society that you've accepted as true, and then you've used confirmation bias to reaffirm that your entire life. Right? This is why you have to unwind everything. This is why this is a completely different fucking way to see reality. And it's going to get even stranger. If you think this is kind of crazy, just wait, because we're going to go way deeper than what the fuck we're doing now. But this is so important because you have all these beliefs, your programming, as I call it, right? That you've never questioned. Your parents told you this thing. Maybe you were nervous as a kid, and if anybody's nervous, they don't talk because it's a safety mechanism biologically, but then they took that safety mechanism of quietness and then attached it to their identity, and then they thought they were quiet, and then every example when they started living their whole life, they said, oh yeah, I'm quiet, look, because of this reason, and then every time they were loud, their RAS blocked it off and it was completely invisible, and they said, oh, that was just one time, that's an exception, and now you're living a completely fucking created narrative that doesn't even serve you, okay? You can control your narrative. Now, this narrative not only dictates our view of ourselves, okay, but it also controls our perception of the physical universe around us, okay? And this is the core idea that is so against the grain of what society wants you to fucking believe that I'm getting goosebumps right now, right? And this is the point. Your consciousness, your awareness, your belief system, how you are functioning in here is directly correlated and intertwined with the physical fabric of reality. It is my belief, all right, that you cannot have a physical, tangible reality in the way that we see it now without human consciousness creating it. What we live in right now, this universe, it's an active dance between information and our brains creating things out of the information. It's information and us organizing the information and creating things out of it, right? We live in a thing that's intertwined with our psyche. It is not physical world or mind. It is physical world and our mind intertwined into one, okay? So the narrative not only dictates the view of ourselves, but it also controls our perception of the physical universe around us. The physical universe around us, okay? Now, open your mind. Even if you're like, Grant, you know what? That's crazy. You're insane. You're fucking psycho. I just urge you, open your brain to what I'm about to tell you and just consider it. Do a thought experiment. And ask yourself this. If this was true, would this all benefit my life more than how I viewed life before? It's that simple. And if the answer is yes, right, and you know for a fact, well, I don't really know if one is right or the other is right. I'm guessing either way, okay? If you don't know either way, why would you not choose to go with the worldview that serves you better, okay? So let's just keep going. I'm on a wave right now. Now, reality is simply a mirror, okay? You look out, you see things, it is only a fucking mirror. That is all it is. Reality is a mirror. If you get nothing else out of this whole presentation, remember this. Well, actually, two things. Number one, your entire identity is a self-generated narrative that you can change at any time. That's number one. Number two, reality is a mirror. Reality is neutral, okay? Reality, there is no good, there is no bad, there is only things happening. Okay? And you can call those things happening little pieces of information. For example, a lion attacks and eats a gazelle. Is that good or bad? Well, the good argument is, well, the lion was super hungry and he had to feed his cubs and his cubs were really hungry and there were 7 of them. So he had to kill the gazelle to feed his cubs, to feed his family. That's really good. Now, the bad way is, well, the gazelle is just an animal and the lion killed the gazelle and ended its life. That's bad. Okay? You can go either way. So what's the objective truth? It's that the lion ate the gazelle. That's the information we're presented with. That's objective reality. And the meaning that we attach to that event is completely made up. There is no right answer. It's completely subjective. Now, once you fully comprehend how subjective reality is in its entirety, how truly subjective all of this fucking shit is around us, your mind's going to fucking explode. It's literally going to be crazy because you realize, oh my God, I'm just assigning meaning to information and then projecting it onto the world, and I'm getting it back in my face because it's a fucking mirror. Let me say that again, because that's the fucking punchline, and I'm telling you, it's going to get crazier, but this is it, okay? You're going to be like, oh my God, I'm assigning meaning to random bits of information, and then I'm throwing this meaning out to the world, and I'm getting it back in exactly the same way, because reality is a mirror, okay? Now, here's how it works, okay? I had my Twitter with me saying I'm sexy as fuck because I tweeted this. So we are the painters all right? And the canvas is reality, okay? Now, we paint this canvas of reality, consciously or subconsciously, it happens, right? Let's say, you're driving down the road, okay? And you're driving and a really nice car cuts you off, right? What just happened? A car drove in front of you. That's objective reality. A car went in front of you. Now, what meaning are you attaching to the situation? Well, your default meaning is probably, oh, this guy cut me off. He's a fucking asshole, right? You probably get angry. But information can change your perspective, okay? Because what happens if he cuts you off and you're like, oh, he's a fucking asshole. Then you get a phone call from your sister and she's like, hey, my boyfriend just broke his leg, but his friend in the Ferrari just picked him up and they're on his way to the hospital and he's losing a bunch of blood, but this guy's a savior. Now you're going to be like, oh shit, this guy in the Ferrari is a fucking hero, right? He's a hero. So really pay attention to what just happened here. All that happened is you got cut off, but you perceived it in a certain way and you felt a certain emotion and it literally made your reality a certain thing, a certain way. And then with new information, you get a phone call. Oh, here's what actually happened here. The narrative changed and the story changed when the objective facts were the same. And now you feel differently about the situation. So quite literally, the situation changed just by information. Does that make sense? Now here's the fucking crazy part. That was a very micro example of how you can change any situation with information that you feed yourself. It gets to an astounding degree. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm telling you, just doing this. So consciously or subconsciously, we paint reality with our perceptions. We color our own reality with our perceptions, okay? So we are the painter. Reality is a blank canvas, and we fill it with who we are. We fill reality with who we are. So reality is blank, and we color it with who we are, okay? And who we are is what we believe, our character traits, and our skills, okay? And our perceptions. Now, don't believe me? Grant, reality is objective. This isn't true. We don't create our own reality. Blah, blah, blah. I don't believe it. Okay, well, let's do a quick example. Have you ever seen a YouTube comment section? Okay? Now, a YouTube comment section is the perfect place to witness projection in action. Projection is when we project what we think onto the world around us. It's what we all do all the time because reality, again, is an objective base with subjective meaning. So let's take a guy walking, right? Let's say there's a YouTube video with a guy walking. The objective fact is he's literally just walking. He's just walking along. Now, read the comments. What do you see? His posture sucks. His outfit isn't professional enough. Dude is way too skinny. He needs to hit the gym. Oh my God, this video is perfect. This is the best video ever. This guy's nose is huge. What an idiot. This is terrible. Can you see this? Look at this. It's just a guy walking. That's the objective fact. And now look at all these subjective responses. Now, the question becomes, why are people choosing these things out of the billions of things they could have chosen? Why did this guy choose posture when he could have picked the guy's boots, or how fast he was walking, or his haircut, or the book, or the color of his shirt, or how the shirt fit his arms, or his backpack, or how his backpack fit his body, or how his pants fit on his legs, or how his pants and boots color combination is, or how far his head's tilted, or how nappy his hair is, or what brand his watch is, or what color his shoelaces are. Why did they pick posture out of everything? Why did this guy pick outfit? Why did this guy pick how skinny he was? Why did this guy pick nose? Why did this guy say he was an idiot? Why did this guy say he was terrible? And why did these people love it so much? We create our own reality, okay? We dump our own shit onto reality and then we get it back, okay? And this is the perfect example because the reason that these people focused on one thing is because that's where their RAS is focused, their reticular activating system, okay? Now, let's keep going. Again, why did people get all that? Because it is a mirror, right? The guy that said, oh, his nose is big, his attention is on people's fucking noses. So when he watches a video, he looks for the nose and he sees nose. He's projecting nose into the world and he's getting nose back. Nobody else on the video saw anything about a nose. It was invisible to them. They didn't even notice it, but he was looking at noses. In the same way, the guy with the posture, oh, his posture's bag. This guy is looking at posture everywhere he goes. He goes to the gym, posture. He goes to the thing, posture. So he's putting posture out and he's getting posture back. Does this make sense? Reality is a fucking mirror. We can now, here's the thing. We can trap ourselves with our own external judgments Because what you're worried about, what you think people will judge you for, is actually what you judge others for, what you judge others for, and it's being reflected back to you. The perfect example of this is what you might feel, a little tentative to start creating content. Why? I had a friend. He wanted to start making content, but he's like, everybody's going to think I'm a fucking idiot. And I said, why do you think that? And he's like, well, because if I see somebody make it and it's stupid, I think they're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, exactly. I'm like, you're creating your own fucking trap. Because when I make content, I think people are going to fucking love it. And when I see content, that is like when I see someone new starting content, I think that's fucking awesome. Keep going. So guess what? When I make content, I assume people are giving that back to me because I don't know what these other people are thinking. I can only guess what they're thinking. But guess what? My guess about what they're thinking is my thinking. This is the fucked up part about it all. What you're worried about, right? What you think people will judge you for is actually what you judge others for, and it's just being reflected back to you by your own fucking preconceptions. It's a mirror. Does this make sense? You judge this person for being fat, so now you're afraid of judgment of being fat, okay? That's how it works. Everything else is invisible. You don't care about posture. You don't care about clothes because you're worried about being fat. This person's fat. Okay, now I'm going to be judged for being fat. And it's every single judgment that you have because you can't judge the outside world with it coming back to you. Why? Because reality is a fucking mirror. It cannot be any other way. Does this make sense? I hope you're tracking. This is so important because people build their own prisons of judgment that they never release themselves from. And oftentimes what happens, remember how I said the results that we get is because of who we are? So what will happen is you have X person that's currently this version of themselves. They need to become this version of themselves. The problem is this version of themselves is judging the fucking world in all these negative ways. And a lot of those judgments that they're judging is actually required for them to become this person. So as long as they hold on to these judgments and they box themselves in by their own judgments, they will never be able to become this person until they free their judgments. They free their mind and they change the mirror. This happens all the time. One that happens all the time are nice guys. Nice guys know they need to be more assertive and be a better leader to get girls. But they see people being assertive and they see people leading and they think he's a fucking asshole. He's mean. He's rude, right? And obviously, if you think someone's mean or rude or an asshole, you're not going to become that thing, or the cognitive dissonance that you'd experience would blow your fucking mind. You're not going to become something that you dislike, right? So what we have to do is redefine, right? And change the narrative, because it's all a narrative, about the story that we tell ourselves about things that we need to acquire on our own identity to be successful. Does this make sense? So that nice guy has to redefine being assertive is for assholes, and he has to change that. He has to say, you know what? People are afraid to be assertive because they don't want to stand out. So if somebody's assertive, that's actually very courageous. And the most efficient way for everyone to be happy is to communicate their needs. So if I actually want to truly be a nice guy, I have to be assertive because it's beneficial for everybody, right? Do you see how that was a complete fucking reframe? That was a real reframe that I had to go through. And this is how I learned a lot of this, is because I've been through all of this, okay? And I'm still going through all of this every day. You never escape the mirror. You can only change the mirror based on what you need. And you can analyze the mirror based on what results you're getting back, okay? Hope this is making sense. It's going to get crazier. Now, let's go one level deeper. I got my Italian water. I'm in Rome right now. What we have, it's called the RAS, okay? The Reticular Activating System. And this RAS controls our focus, okay? Remember back two, three slides ago when I was like, why does this person focus on the nose? Why does this person focus on the outfit? When there's billions of things they could focus on, it's because of their RAS, okay? It's where their focus lies. And our focus is quite literally controls what we bring into our life, literally, right? Because that video that I showed you of the guy walking, one person was focused on posture, he got posture. One person was focused on nose, he got nose. One person was focused on professional outfits, he got professional outfits. What we focus on is what we bring into our reality in a literal way, because we're taking information and we're putting it on ourselves. Does this make sense? Let's keep going. Now, the universe. The universe is an infinite amount of things that we could focus on at any given time. Take right now, for example. You could focus on my eyes. You could focus on my nose. You could focus on my words. You could focus on my rings. You could focus on my hood. You could focus on how your shirt feels on your shoulder. You could focus on the background noises. You could focus on the colors on the screen. You could focus here, or 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 here. Or you could focus on the sounds in front of you. There's billions of things that you could focus on in any given second, right? Now what your brain does, you obviously can't interpret billions of shit or you just explode. So your RAS filters out everything but about 40 inputs, and it controls what is allowed in, okay? Now that control mechanism is what I call your filter, okay? This filter controls what we see physically and psychically, okay? Physically and psychically. What does that mean? This means that this filter will literally control what you see in reality, what you actually see visually, and also what you can see in your mind. Here's a good example of this. Let's say you've never even thought about a fucking Jetta, okay? Never even thought of a Jetta. But now your sister wants to buy a Jetta, so she's asking you all these Jetta questions. And you're like, oh, Jetta, blah, blah, blah. Now, all of a sudden, you're driving home from school and you see a Jetta, and you're like, holy shit. Then you see 3 more Jettas, and you're like, dude, Jettas are fucking everywhere. Why is this happening? The Jettas have always been there, okay? And the Jettas will continue to be there. Your RAS is now working to find Jettas. Your RAS has been flipped from something else to Jettas. And now Jettas are now visible to you in reality. What used to literally be invisible is now visible. Do you get what I'm saying? A large chunk, 99.99% of reality is literally invisible to us. And the little tiny bit we see is due to our RAS. This is why some people can see different things than other people. This is why some people get different results than other people. It's because their RAS is focused on different things, okay? Now, this filter is with you at all times. And this filter controls what you see. And if you can master this filter, you will quite literally be able to get anything that you want. Because your filter is the bottleneck, how you see yourself. Now, remember this? His posture sucks. His outfit isn't professional enough. Dude's way too skinny. Oh, this is perfect. What an idiot. Look at all these different RAS focuses. This guy's focus is on posture. This guy's focused on professional outfit. This guy's focused on how skinny the guy is. This guy's focused on the nose. These are all different RASs. And every single person you meet will have their focus on a different thing. But remember, where their focus is will determine what they get into their life. And what they get into their life is information, and how they interpret that information and act on it is how they will get the results in their life. Okay? You see how this is all making sense? Now, this is also why angry people are always angry. Grateful people are always grateful. Sad people are always sad. Successful people are always successful. Broke people are always broke. Positive people are always positive. Negative people are always negative. It has nothing to do with objective reality. Nothing. And 100% to do with their own filter. Your filter is your life. This is why 5 people can have the same exact experience and get different things from it, okay? You could literally be standing in the road and a car could crash into a wall in front of you. One person goes, the fucking car ruined my day. I had to walk around it. Fuck, right? Another person's like, oh my God, that car could have hit me. I'm so grateful that I'm alive right now. Another person could be like, oh, they were driving and they crashed. That's so sad. Wah. Same situation, different narratives. Different narratives. And guess what? Whatever narrative you replay over and over again, usually you're going to attach to your identity. So that mad guy, oh, his fucking car, he probably considers himself angry. That grateful person, oh my God, I survived. They probably consider themselves grateful. That sad person, oh my God, they almost blah, blah. They probably consider themselves compassionate, right? The narrative that you use the most is often the narrative that you attach to your identity. And the narrative you attach to your identity controls your life because who you are is what you get. All right, let's keep going. Now, this mechanism of our brain that creates our reality runs quite literally to the deepest core of quantum mechanics, okay? This is when I said earlier how our psyche and our consciousness is directly intertwined with matter itself and is part of the matter creation process. This is what I meant. Now, let's watch this video together, okay? It's only like 5 minutes. It'll be worth it, I promise you. It's called the double split experiment.
And here we are. the granddaddy of all quantum weirdness, the infamous double-slit experiment. To understand this experiment, we first need to see how particles, or little balls of matter, act. If we randomly shoot a small object, say a marble, at the screen, we see a pattern on the back wall where they went through the slit and hit. Now, if we...
Pretty straightforward, right? So there's a wall with a little slit in front of it. They shoot a bunch of matter. They shoot little particles, which is like the smallest version of matter, through a little slit, and they hit the wall behind it. Super straightforward.
we add a second slit, we would expect to see a second band
Now they add a double slit.
duplicated to the right. Now, let's look at waves. The waves hit the slit and radiate out, striking the back wall with the most intensity directly in line with the slit. The line of brightness on the back screen shows that intensity. This is similar to the line the marbles make. But when we add the second slit, something different happens. If the top of one wave meets the bottom of another wave, they cancel each other out. So now there is an interference pattern on the back wall. Places where the two tops meet are the highest intensity, the bright lines, and where they cancel, there is nothing. So, when we throw things, that is, matter, through two slits, we get this, two bands of hits.
Makes sense, right? You throw matter through two slits, you get two slits.
And with waves, we get an interference pattern of many bands.
And when you throw waves, like sound, like vibration, through a thing like that, you get an interference pattern. Pretty straightforward.
Good so far.
Now, waves technically aren't matter. They're waves. They're forces of information, right?
Now, let's go quantum. An electron is a tiny, tiny bit of matter, like a tiny marble. Let's fire a stream through one slit. It behaves just like the marble, a single band. So, if we shoot these tiny bits through two slits, we should get, like the marbles, two bands. What? An interference pattern. We fired electrons, tiny bits of matter through. But we get a pattern like waves, not like little marbles.
If you're not getting goosebumps right now, you should be getting fucking goosebumps. Because at the micro level, quantum mechanics, they shot matter through two slits and it hit on fucking 30 different sides in an interference pattern. Is that not crazy?
How? How could pieces of
How is
matter
right?
create an interference pattern like a wave? It doesn't make sense. But physicists are clever. They thought, maybe those little balls are bouncing off each other and creating that pattern. So, they decide to shoot electrons through one at a time. There is no way they could interfere with each other. But after an hour of this, the same interference pattern is seen to emerge. The conclusion is inescapable. The single electron leaves as a particle, becomes a wave of potentials, goes through both slits, and interferes with itself to hit the wall like a particle. But mathematically, it's even stranger. It goes through both slits and it goes through neither. And it goes through just one and it goes through just the other. All of these possibilities are in superposition with each other. But physicists were completely baffled by this. So they decided to peek and see which slit it actually goes through. They put a measuring device by one slit to see which one it went through and let it fly. But the quantum world is far more mysterious than they could have imagined. When they observed, the electron went back to behaving like a little marble. It produced a pattern of two bands, not an interference pattern of many. The very act of measuring or observing which slit it went through meant it only went through one, not both. The electron decided to act differently, as though it was aware it was being watched. And it was here that physicists stepped forever into the strange, never-world of quantum events. What is matter? Marbles or waves? And waves of what? And what does an observer have to do with any of this? The observer collapsed the wave function simply by observing.
Now, do you understand what the fuck we just watched together? Okay? What just happened is that they had waves, which is information in the universe, right? Some people call it quarks. You can call it whatever you want. It's the fabric of reality. Waves, information, right? When you look away from the information, it hits as a wave. When you look at the information, it hits as matter. The act of human awareness and human consciousness shifts the wave, the information, from information to physical, actual matter. Okay? Even crazier than that, when you don't look at it and it hits like a wave, there is one item of matter that could potentially go in infinite directions, and it's choosing one for whatever fucking reason. And it's choosing all of them at the same time. What does this mean? This means every potential route for your life is out there, right? And it's on you to bring it about. We know time is a construct of the mind. Everybody who is semi-intelligent is aware that the time is a construct in linear time is a construct in the human mind. Okay, time doesn't exist. Okay, distance doesn't exist either. This is proven by quantum mechanics. You can have a particle here and a particle 300 million light years away, and they spin at the same time. Distance doesn't matter, right? These things are illusions of the mind. Once you realize at a fucking core level how crazy this shit is, you realize there's endless possibilities. Because we literally create our own reality with our vision. Now, vision is not only physical, like it is in this experiment, when waves through sight get turned into matter, but it's also psychic. It's also in your mind. What you see in your head manifests into reality. This same mechanism of information plus sight equals manifest equals into reality takes place in your mind every single day. Okay? And this is why controlling the narrative is so important, because your narrative collides with reality, and the act of narrative plus reality colliding equals the reality that you fucking get. And it happens every day on a micro level. People don't understand the profoundness, the profundity, if that's a word, of this actual process, okay? Once you do, you realize how important controlling your language is, because language is a verbal way to see reality in your mind and then create it, right? It's a way to surf through, language is a way to surf through information in your head and communicate that information. It's a way to turn waves, information, into particles. It's a way to turn information into matter. Can you see how this is all connected? The story in your own mind. Not only is it a narrative that you're generating for your own identity, it is the fabric of fucking reality. It is information into matter, into results in your own life. And if you want to master this process, you have to control your language. Okay? I really wanted to show you that video though, because that's fucking crazy, right? Society's like, oh, matter's here, and then our consciousness doesn't influence it. Literally not how that's literally not true. It's literally not true. It's time doesn't exist. We know that. Space doesn't exist. And the act of matter being created is directly influenced and in coordination with our own psyche. And you can use this mechanism to fuel your lifestyle into success if you always keep this at the forefront of your mind. Now, let's keep going. The act of observing reality has a direct effect on reality itself. This means our internal reality, quite literally, has a direct influence on the physical world around us. Okay? Let's use examples. But how? It's due to cause and effect. Okay? A universal principle. The universe runs on cause and effect, right? You have a ball on a table. You have a red ball on a table, okay? Now, time does not exist. Only the present moment exists, okay? Think about the future. Oh, wait, it's just a thought. And when you're thinking that thought about the future, you're thinking it in the here and now. So you're stuck in the now, right? Well, think about the past. The past happened, right? Well, no, it didn't. Because when I think about the past, I'm thinking about what happened in the past in the now. Well, that's weird. Okay, so I guess if I think about the future, well, then I know I'm thinking about the future now as a thought. But if I think about the past happened, right? Because I remember the stuff happening. Well, yeah, you remember the stuff happening in the now. Okay? But now when you think about the past, it is simply a memory that you're living in the present. The present is all we have. And we take snapshots, aka memories, and we attach meaning, and we attach story, and we attach narrative to these pictures, right? And you have reality. But you can never escape the here and now. So look at this red ball on the table. In the here and now, it's not on the other side. Now, if we want this ball to go to the other side, we have to act in the moment to make it go to the other side. We need a person to push the ball to the other side, right? To push it. Now, what just happened here? This is how you get everything that you ever want. If we want to move the ball from here to here, it has to be pushed. An action has to happen, right? But in order for an action to happen, a belief must first be there. Either consciously or unconsciously, right? I think if I push this, I believe if I push this ball, it's going to get to the end of the table. Boom. There's a belief there, right? Then the belief fuels the action of pushing the ball, and the force of the action against reality determines how far the ball goes, right? There's friction at play, there's other variables at play, but something's going to play out some way, right? Remember that when it shot the wave onto the wall, there was infinite potentials at the same time. Which one gets manifested? It depends on a bunch of other factors, right? But something happens. So this is how you get anything that you want. So when you run through this coaching program and you want to make your 10K, your 20K, your 30K, your 50K, your 70K, your 100K a month, there's no reason you can't make 100K a month. No fucking reason, right? But you have to first believe it can happen, because if your beliefs are going to directly influence your actions on the belief, and your action is what elicits cause and effect to bring about things in your life. So number one, the belief that it can happen. Number two, you take action fueled by X belief. And number three, that action collides with reality, and the force of the action combined with all the other variables determines the results that you get in your life. It's cause and effect. It's cause and effect, but you can control cause and effect and use it to your advantage if you control your narrative in your mind about reality and yourself, because that is the fundamental core part of reality, is controlling your words and your language. Because remember, your language is how you get information to interact with reality on that you then generate meaning from. Does that make sense? So belief, action, feedback, okay? Now let's use the example of a sales call, okay? I'm going to show you how this actually will play out in your own life. Let's say you get on a sales call with one of your clients that you're going to close. Belief, action, feedback, okay? Now, let's say you take a sales call, right? Let's say you're cold calling somebody. So it's not an inbound lead like you're going to get online, like I'm going to show you exactly how to do, which is an easy fucking close. Let's say you're trying to cold call somebody. And let's say you're in a bad mood, okay? Yeah. Actually, no, let's use an inbound lead. Let's say you got your TikTok popping, you would do whatever, you get a lead coming in, and then they're getting on the phone with you. Let's say your mindset sucks, okay? Now, the sales call doesn't exist yet. It's in the future, which doesn't exist, right? All that happens now is you're angry and you're sad, okay? And so you think in your head, this sales call is going to suck. That's your belief. This sales call is going to suck. So again, the sales call hasn't taken place yet. The sales call doesn't exist yet. All that exists is you in reality right now thinking this call is going to suck. Then, because you think it's going to suck, you get on the call and you act like it's going to suck. Your tonality sucks. You're angry. You're grumpy. You're short-tempered with the prospect. You think they're stupid. You think they're poor. Blah, 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 blah. You're acting in reality controlled by this belief. And then you get feedback because the prospect's going to be like, well, fuck this guy, or I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do that. And then you don't close the deal, okay? Your belief fueled your actions, and those actions interacted with reality, and you got your feedback, which was no sale. Now, you can switch this, right? And this is so fucking profound. I know it sounds simple, but this is really a big deal. Let's say you believe that you're going to get the most amazing prospect on the phone, and even if you don't close them, it's going to be amazing. You're going to have an amazing conversation, whatever, right? Now you feel fucking amazing. You bring amazing energy to the phone. You care about the prospect. You want to know what their problems are. You want to help them. You know you can help them. You say that with conviction. And now your belief is fueling you that you're the best salesperson ever because you want to help them. And if you want to help them, then you know it's okay to close because you're like, oh my God, I'm going to help them so much, right? This belief is fueling your action. Now your tonality is better. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're interacting with reality a completely different fucking way, right? And then that interacts with reality, and then your feedback is you got dollars in your fucking bank account. Dollars in your bank account. Now, what just happened here? You went from changing a belief to changing an action to changing actual dollars in your fucking bank account, okay? A belief is nothing but words in your head. It is information in your head that you're attaching meaning to. We're going right back to the fabric of reality. Reality is information that we attach meaning to, okay? That we help create with our own perspectives and sight, both physically and psychically. So what happened was we interpreted information a certain way and drilled that into the fabric of reality. We acted on it with an action and we got feedback. But a simple switching of the belief, a simple switching of the information in our head, a simple switching of the narrative that we have manifested or brought about money in our fucking bank account. That's from the dream world to the real world. That's how it works. This is the game that we're playing. Belief, action, feedback. It's so simple. So, how do we get your beliefs to perpetually fuel your actions? Number one, we ingrain you that it's okay to want things for the sake of wanting them, okay? You want to hit your 10K a month. You want to hit your 20K a month. You want to hit your 30K a month, 40K a month, just because you want to fucking do it. That's okay. Make all the money. Who gives a fuck? Make all the money and blow it on stupid cars. Blow it on hookers and cocaine. Who fucking cares? It's your life. Live it how you want. Now, obviously, I wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd recommend setting yourself up and playing a game of longevity, because the longer you can play the game, the better you're going to be at it, and the better you're going to be at it, the more fun it's going to be, because the better you're going to get and the more resources you're going to acquire. So I'd recommend doing it with longevity, but the truth is you can have whatever the fuck you want for whatever reason. Nobody makes the rules here. There's no rule to life, okay? So we have to ingrain in you, it's okay to want things for the sake of wanting them. Just because you want to make 10K a month is enough fucking reason to make 10K a month, just for the sake of it. Live your life like this. Nobody can determine what's good or bad. It's your fucking life. Live it, okay? Number two, we align with our own internal reality and we ignore the outer reality, right? Because remember how I said that we get who we are, and who we are is a narrative that we have in our own head. We have to align with our own narrative, our own internal reality, and ignore the outer internal reality, societies, other people's, any external influence. We want to chuck this and get it away, because in our reality, it's positive. It's for our own benefit. We can't lose. Everything is either a lesson or we win. We dominate everything. We get whatever the fuck we want just because we want it. We have complete control and complete freedom. This is our reality. We don't let other people's outer realities affect us at all. Because again, reality is super subjective. So if they're not right and we're not right, but ours suits us better, let's fucking choose ours. Fuck them, right? That's all it is. Ingrain in yourself that it's okay to have anything that you fucking want, and it's possible, literally possible. And then you have to align with your own internal reality and ignore the outer reality, okay? Now, to do this, you must tap into your intuition and put all weight on this little voice, okay? You jumped into this program. That means you had a belief in yourself that you could be somebody that you want to fucking be. Now, remember when we went back to the fabric of reality, right? How there were all those different potentials. That one little fucking particle could be everything at one time, nothing at no times, and all of them in separate times. The potential was infinite. You have an infinite number of potentials laying in front of you at all moments, right? Now your intuition is divinely linked to a version of yourself in the future that has the thing that you want. Does this make sense? So out of all the potentials that you do see in front of you, your intuition is assigned to what I call your highest version. It's your highest compass, because God or the universe or whatever you want to call it didn't put you in this fucking game with no roadmap. You always have a roadmap, and it is your intuition. With an infinite number of potentials, which one do you go towards? Your intuition will tell you exactly where to go, and that's all you listen to, and you fucking follow it with everything that you have. And you commit to yourself that no matter what fucking happens, you're going to put your own intuition above everything else, and you're going to chase it, because that is the highest version of yourself. That is your dream. That is your fucking destiny, whatever you want to call it. We're not here without a lane. We have fucking intuition. We know where to go, okay? Now, this little intuition, you got to feed it. You got to nurture it. You got to tell yourself that it's valid. Because, again, remember how I said in the beginning, you have all these default perspectives about society, and they tell you all these things that aren't fucking true because they don't understand how the universe or the world works, right? This is another one of those things. Self-belief. You bought this program, so you know you're great. You know you want to make 10K a month, and you know you can do it eventually. You know you can make 200K or 300K, whatever the fuck you want to make. You know you have it in you because you bought the program. If you didn't think you could do it, you wouldn't have bought the program, right? So your intuition is saying, hey, I'm good enough for this thing. I just need to do the right shit. Now, that little voice, that self-belief is the realest thing that you have. Society will say, oh, that's not real because it hasn't manifested yet. Oh, that's not real because you have no proof. Oh, that's not. It's a joke. Oh, that's not real because you have no proof is the dumbest fucking mechanistic, nihilistic bullshit I've ever heard, right? That they completely disregard self-belief. And if you remember what we just watched, your self-belief is a narrative. It's information about yourself running in your own mind, reflecting with reality. It's fucking real. Once you see reality the correct way, you understand this makes perfect sense why it's real. Because information has limitless potentials, right? And the universe is just information. Everything in our mind is just information, and we assign meaning to that information. And then the meaning that we assign, due to our beliefs, turns into actions, and the actions fuel reality, cause and effect kicks in, and we get what we want. So at the base of all this is self-belief. It's a real fucking part of the reality. It's a real part of manifesting a life that you want, right? And I'm not talking about woo-woo manifestation. I'm talking about real fucking shit, bringing this shit into existence. I'm traveling the world. I'm in fucking Rome right now. What? I manifested this, and I'm showing you exactly how I did it. You feed it, you nurture it. Your self-belief is the realest thing that you have. It's absolutely real. The biggest fuck up that you can do is not believe your own intuition. It's value the opinions and ideas and perspectives of everybody else over your own intuition and your own way of wanting to do things. You have an internal divine compass within you called your intuition. You have to follow it. It's part of the process. You need to become an intuitive being. Now, your intuition, like I said, is a direct link from source, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, to your potential, right? You can call it different things. The universe, God, Allah, whatever. It's a direct link from that to your potential, okay? It's a guide. Your intuition is basically like a flashlight, right? Let's say you're in a dark field, okay? And you want to go to the end of the dark field, aka your goals, but you don't know how to get there, right? It's darkness. Now, your intuition is like a little flashlight that shows you about 2 or 3 feet ahead. It also shows you direction. This is super important because if you're in a dark field and you have no idea where to go, you need to know which way to go, and you need to know what step to take and what step to avoid. Now, what your intuition does is it's connected to your fucking goal, okay? It's connected to that one of the infinite potentials, the one that is your aka highest potential that's in front of you. So your intuition says, hey, this direction, and here's 1 or 2 steps. That's all you can see. And it's on you as a human to have the courage to follow that path. That's the divine test, in my opinion, right? Whatever the source or the God or universe is, they're directly linked to that future you. They're going to say, hey, this is the direction. Here's a couple steps. You got the fucking balls to follow it or not? And if you don't follow that path, you're going to spend your whole life suppressing the urge, suppressing the direction to be followed until you die. And the average person goes their entire life without taking a step down the path because they don't understand that if you have the courage to take a couple steps down the path, the path continues to reveal itself. And eventually, if you keep going down the path and trusting step by step by step by step, following the right direction, you will get to your goal. It's impossible. It's inevitable that you don't because that's how reality fucking works, right? It's whispering what you could be if you had the balls to listen. My chair went over here. I want to bring it back so I can lay down. There we go. Now, to alter this process, right? to alter the process to get everything you've ever wanted, you must make a commitment to yourself to honor your intuition. Your own internal voice with more power than any other voice from any other source. Your own intuition, your own perspectives and perceptions, your own, I think this is right, even though people say something else. You have to honor your own fucking voice more than you honor everything else, okay? Emerson calls this self-reliance. Here's his argument. He said, look, bro, listen, you don't pick your interests. You don't pick your dreams. You don't pick your perspectives or your perceptions. These things they hit you. You're the receiver of these things by the universe, by God, by whatever you want to call it. And because you don't choose them, and because you're the receiver of these things, the divine, the universe is hitting you with them, and the divine is the source of infinite genius. Well, that's actually your source of genius. It's listening and being able to recognize and hear these perspectives and these dreams and these interests that hit you and saying, yeah, I'm going to fucking trust these things. And then going from there. That's ultimate self-reliance. Because you understand that you're fueled by God. You understand that you're fueled by the divine. You're fueled by the universe when you live this way, because you're literally in alignment with how it works. However you want to call that. Right? That's how you live. That's how you become God's favorite. Because God loves the courageous. God loves the ones that are courageous enough to follow the blueprint that he's laid out for them, right? And again, you can call it the universe, you can call it intuition, you can call it whatever you want. I'm using different parts of the language. I'm very spiritual, so I'm using different words because I'm not about one religion, but I'm about principles of the universe. Now, once you can jump to self-reliance fully, trusting your own intuition, carving your own path, finding lessons, testing things out, standing on your own 2 feet, being self-reliant with the way you live, of your own accord, your reality will begin bending to your will. Everything you want, you'll manifest. Hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in your bank account, amazing relationships, right? Power, everything that you want. If you live like this, it will bend to your will. It literally cannot do anything other than that. This is how the mechanism fucking works. This is how the thing that we're in, the game that we're in works. This is how it works. Like, if you just jump to self-reliance and you start trusting yourself and you abide by it, it cannot work any other way. It is how it works. I don't know how to tell you this, right? Now, how do you consciously interrupt this process? Well, you can then start consciously auditing the things that we talked about that you are. Number one, your beliefs about yourself and the world, okay? Who do you think you are? What do you believe about yourself, right? And remember, a belief is simply a little bit of information that we attach meaning to, and the meaning dictates our life. So it's subjective, okay? It's subjective. It's a narrative. It's a story. Now, technically, no narrative or story is true because it's made up, but technically they're all true because we make them up, and because we believe them and make them up, they are true. So the point is, one isn't right and the other isn't right. So if one version isn't right and the other version isn't right, then all you can do, the most functional, logical thing to do is say, okay, out of these 2 beliefs I could believe, which one serves me best? And then whichever one serves you best, attach it to your fucking identity. That's it. You could believe that you're a piece of shit, or you could believe that you're God's favorite. Which one will serve you more? Probably God's favorite. Okay, let me do this. Boom. And once it's on your identity, you're going to start seeing in reality, it's going to start manifesting. You're going to be like, oh, this thing happened today at school. Wow, I am God's favorite. Oh, this thing happens today at school. Oh my God, right? Reality is a confirmation bias mechanism. What we believe, we get back because it's a fucking mirror, right? If you believe that you're a piece of shit, then something's going to happen, and then you're going to be like, oh man, I knew I was a piece of shit. Or the same thing could happen. You could be like, oh my God, I'm God's favorite, right? That could be it. Like literally, like I could take this water and I could do this and spill some on my shirt like I just did. And I could think, oh my God, I spilled some on my shirt. I'm a fucking idiot. I can't do anything right. Or I could think, oh, I spilled some on my shirt. That's crazy. I don't know who else could spill shit on their shirt and not give a fuck. I'm literally God's favorite. That's how it works, right? And because I believe I'm God's favorite, I see that stuff in my own life, right? And the people around me. It's positive, it's love. Now, number 2, character traits that you identify with, okay? Do you believe that you're the type of person that sticks to things? Do you believe that you're the type of person that will win at all costs? Do you believe that you're the type of person who has good luck? Do you believe that you're the type of person that is God's favorite? Do you believe that you're the type of person that's divinely protected? Do you believe that you're the type of person that has made things happen to them and is being a magnet of attracting beautiful things in their life? Do you believe that you're the type of person that can manifest anything they want at any time? Do you believe that you're the type of person who amazing things always happen to? Do you believe that you're the type of person that the cards always fall in your favor, even if not in the moment, you can't see it, but you know it's going to work out eventually, right? What beliefs and character traits do you identify with, okay? It's that simple. I just listed off a bunch of beliefs about the world. Character traits would be like, are you conscientious? Do you get things done, right? But the conscientiousness has to first start as a belief. It's all very deeply intertwined. So are skills, physical and emotional, right? If you don't want to do something, can you convince yourself that it's okay to do it, and can you do it? That's a skill, but it's also a character trait, but it's also a belief, right? We're an interweaving of the three. So realize this, okay? And this is super important. You're exactly where you are in life right now because of what you've done, okay? Everything is your fault. It's your responsibility. Your fault, your responsibility. The amount of money you make, your fault. Because you could have found a different opportunity and researched it, and you could have already been in $1 million a year. There's 14-year-olds making $1 million a year, right? Because they have information that you don't. So just accept it's all your fault. Now, every obstacle that you face is due to a lack of these three areas. So anytime you face a difficulty or an obstacle, you have to get very acutely aware of pinpointing these things and being like, oh, this is difficult for me, or oh, I'm battling this, or oh, this is something I'm struggling with. And then you either have to fix a belief about it, you got to get a new character trait, or you got to develop a skill. It's that simple. One of those three is going to be the answer. So maybe you're posting all this content and maybe you're not getting views at first and you're like, oh, fuck, my life sucks. I suck at this. I never want to do this, right? You need now the output there is you need to keep putting out content. So in order to keep putting out content, you have to develop the emotional fortitude to not give up. Persistence. So you need a belief, a character trait, and a skill. So the belief is, well, if I am more persistent, then things are going to work out in my favor. There's a belief. Then you start persisting, then you have the character trait, and now you have the skill of emotional persistence. It's so simple. So every obstacle you face or problem, it's because you're missing one of these things. You can build yourself up like a fucking Lego set. All right? It's crazy. Now, you can build yourself into the person that is worthy of what you want through cause and effect. Cause and effect is the universal principle. It's how things happen, right? You want a ball, here's a red ball. You want it at the end of the table. You got to push the ball to the other end of the table, okay? It's that simple. Now, if you can't right now push the ball to the other end of the table, you have to become the person that is worthy of pushing the ball to the other end of the table, okay? Now, let's say you wanted to push the ball to the other end of the table. What do you need? You need the belief that you can push the ball to the other end of the table, right? You need to be able to find the ball and have it be there to be pushed. And number three, you need the strength to be able to push it to the other side of the table. So the metaphor there is if you can't push the ball to the other side of the table, you got to either believe that you can, you got to get stronger to be able to do it, more skills, or you got to be able to find the fucking ball. It's that simple. This is how the universe works. And the amazing thing is you can build yourself into the person that is worthy of what you want through the laws of cause and effect. Because reality is what we believe, and what we believe is what we get, and we can change our beliefs. It's fucking crazy, bro. It's like a video game. It's like a video game. It's insane. So that's all I got. I hope you understand this and see reality for how it actually is. Use these principles to manifest everything that you wanted in your life. You can build a following. You can make a bunch of money. You can have fast cars. You can have big houses. You can have everything that you fucking want, both physically, materially, emotionally, relationship-wise. You can have everything that you want. And understand that everything that you want is just a small, tiny little fraction of what you can have. It's just a little tiny drop in the bucket of everything that you could have. So take these principles and run. Hope you watched to the end of this. Love you. Bye.